$2.8 billion. That's how much one state extracted from big tech in just 18 months. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton sued Meta and got $1.4 billion. He sued Google and got $1.375 billion. Meanwhile, a coalition of 40 states sued Google together and got $391 million. Total, split 40 ways. Texas alone got 3.5 times more than 40 states combined. This isn't random. This is strategy. And Wall Street is paying close attention. To understand Texas's money machine, you need to know the two cases. In July 2024, Texas settles with Meta over facial recognition violations for $1.4 billion. 9 months later, in May 2025, Texas settles with Google. Location tracking, incognito mode, lies, biometric data, $1.375 billion. Both cases were based on the same Texas law, CUBI, the Capture or Use of Biometric Identifier Act. It was passed way back in 2009, but the first enforcement action didn't happen until 2022. Here's the official press release from December 2022. 40 states announced a joint settlement with Google for location tracking violations. Quote, 40 states and the District of Columbia will receive $391.5 million. End quote. Split 40 ways, that's an average of $9.7 million per state. Texas alone got over $1 billion more than all 40 of those states combined from just one of its lawsuits. This is the enforcement gap that changed everything. So why can one state extract billions while 40 states together get only hundreds of millions? The answer is in one single sentence of a Texas law. And once you see it, you'll understand why California, New York, and Illinois are all scrambling to copy it. This isn't just about being tough on tech. This is about engineering the law as a profit center. Texas discovered that biometric violations multiply. One user, one photo, can equal multiple violations. And that math changes everything. Let's look at the law. CUBI, the Capture or Use of Biometric Identifier Act. The key phrase is this, quote, a person may not capture a biometric identifier of an individual for a commercial purpose. End quote. The penalty is $25,000 per violation, not per person, per violation. That means every single photo that Facebook scanned was a separate violation. Every face geometry they captured was a separate violation. The multiplier is literally built into the law itself. Consider Meta's exposure. There are 30 million Texas users on Facebook. Let's say the average user uploaded 200 photos over 10 years. That's 6 billion potential violations. Multiply that by $25,000 each. The maximum exposure is $750 billion. Meta settled for $1.4 billion. 1.4, that's only 0.18% of the maximum exposure. But it's still the largest privacy settlement from a single state. Ever. Because Texas was the first to calculate the full liability. Here's what Attorney General Ken Paxton said in his statement. Quote, even a multi-state coalition that included 40 states secured just $391 million, almost $1 billion, less than Texas's recovery. End quote. The strategy is explicit. File a loan. You get to keep 100% of the settlement. 40 states had to split $391 million 40 ways. Texas keeps its $1.4 billion. The coalition model dilutes enforcement. A solo prosecution maximizes recovery, and every other state now sees this. Let's break down the economics of coalition versus solo. The 40-state coalition against Google took 3 years of litigation. Think about the coordination costs and the compromises needed to get everyone to agree. The final settlement was $391 million. Divided 40 ways, that's $9.7 million each. Now look at Texas. They sued Google alone. It took 2 years of litigation, no coordination, no compromise. The settlement was $1.375 billion. All of it went to Texas. That's 141 times more than what the coalition states received. This is enforcement arbitrage. But there's another critical element. Texas has CUBI. Most states don't. California has its Consumer Privacy Act. or CCPA. The penalties there are $2,500 per violation. Texas, $25,000, 10 times higher. Illinois has BIPA, the Biometric Information Privacy Act. The penalties are $1,000 or $5,000 per violation. Plus, Illinois has a private right of action, which means class action lawsuits are everywhere. In Texas, only the Attorney General can sue. This means controlled enforcement, which gives the state maximum leverage with minimum legal chaos. Now for the climax. On May 10th, 2025, Google agrees to the Texas settlement. The press release drops, $1.375 billion. Analysts immediately do the math. The 40-state coalition got $391 million back in 2022. Texas alone got 3.5 times more just 3 years later. Google's legal strategy had been to settle with coalitions cheaply and fight individual states hard. Texas completely reversed that. They made it more expensive to fight them than it would have been to join a coalition. It was game theory executed perfectly. And what was Google's response? Quote, "This agreement settles a raft of old claims, many of which have already been resolved elsewhere." End quote. The translation is clear. We already paid other states less for this. Now Texas is making us pay 3.5 times more. The company is basically admitting they settled cheaper with other states. Texas created price discovery. They showed other states that they left billions of dollars on the table. Texas revealed the real number. But what about the people affected? The 30 million Facebook users in Texas and the millions more using Google products. Do they see any of this money? No. This isn't a class action lawsuit. The settlement money goes directly to the Texas Treasury. It funds things like education and infrastructure. It becomes general revenue. The victims of the privacy violations get zero direct compensation. But here's the economic reality. The Texas government benefits. Big tech pays billions, and other states realize they structured their enforcement all wrong. In Illinois, where private citizens can sue, class action lawyers can take 30%. In Texas, the state keeps 100%. And now, other states are catching on. This very month, December 2025, the California Assembly is considering a bill with CUBI-style penalties for biometric violations. New York's Attorney General, Letitia James, has said, quote, "We're reviewing Texas's enforcement model," end quote. And Illinois is already looking to amend BIPA to increase its penalties after seeing the Texas results. The blueprint is spreading. By 2027, analysts predict that 15 states will have Texas-style biometric laws. Big tech's new compliance cost? An estimated $5 to $10 billion annually. The Texas effect is compounding. So what does this mean for investors? Big tech stocks now have to price in about 1 to 2% of their revenue for state privacy settlements every single year. Meta, Google, Apple, Amazon. They're all budgeting billions for CUBI-style enforcement. This isn't a one-time cost. This is a new recurring expense. Moody's Analytics put it this way. Quote, "State-level privacy enforcement is the new normal. Tech margins decrease 0.5 to 1% permanently." End quote. That's the market signal that Texas sent. This is state enforcement economics. One law, one aggressive attorney general, $2.8 billion in 18 months. 40 states together, $391 million in 3 years. The math speaks for itself. If you want to understand how regulatory economics truly affect big tech valuations, this is the only channel that breaks down the state-by-state strategy. This is Pat and War. Subscribe for our next investigation.